My mother stood up at Thanksgiving dinner, raised her glass in front of 20 family members, and announced my sister would get the entire insurance payout because I didn't need it. Just like that. No warning, no private conversation, a public declaration like I wasn't even part of the family anymore. The room went silent. Forks stopped midair. My Aunt Janet's mouth actually dropped open. Even my Uncle Doug, who never shuts up, said nothing. I sat there, keeping my face completely neutral, but inside, everything clicked into place. Because I'd been waiting for this moment. I knew it was coming. And I had receipts. Let me back up. My name is Natalie. I'm 31, I work in data analysis in Denver, and I've spent my entire life being the invisible daughter. Not because I wanted to be, but because that's the role my mother assigned me the day my sister Abigail was born. Abigail is 29. She's sweet, she's sensitive, and she's always been the golden child. Every decision in our house growing up bent toward her. Every celebration centered her. Every time something went wrong, I was expected to step up and handle it while Mom comforted Abigail. I remember being 12 when Abigail broke Mom's favorite vase playing around. I was in my room doing homework. Mom came in, saw me there, and told me I should have been watching my sister. I got grounded for 2 weeks. Abigail got ice cream and a hug because she felt bad about the vase. That's how it always went. When Abigail wanted to go to art school, Mom emptied her savings to make it happen. When I wanted to study data science, Mom handed me financial aid forms and said I was smart enough to figure it out myself. I'm not saying Abigail is a bad person. She's not. But living in her shadow my whole life did something to me. It made me quiet. It made me careful. It made me really, really good at noticing things other people miss. Like when I was 19 and Mom shoved a stack of papers in front of me at the kitchen table. Just some routine government forms, she said, not quite meeting my eyes. Nothing important. Sign here and here. I trusted her. I was 19. So I signed. But I saw the logo in the corner. Small, easy to miss if you weren't paying attention. An insurance company logo. That moment stuck with me like a splinter under my skin. You know it's there even when you can't see it. I asked her about it later that week. Mom, those forms I signed. What were they exactly? I told you, government paperwork. Stop worrying about everything, Natalie. You're always so suspicious. That word. Suspicious. Like it was a character flaw instead of common sense. Years passed. I moved to Denver, built my career, created a life away from all of it. My job trained me to spot patterns, follow paper trails, notice when numbers don't add up. It made me sharp in ways I never expected. Then Dad died 2 years ago. Heart attack, sudden, devastating. We were all wrecked. But after the funeral, after the grief settled into this dull ache you carry everywhere, life moved on. Or so I thought. Dad and I had been close in a quiet way. He never played favorites like Mom did. He'd call me every Sunday just to check in, ask about work, tell me he was proud of me. Those calls meant everything. After he died, I kept expecting Mom to mention his will, his policies, something about how his affairs were being handled. She never did. When I asked, she waved me off. It's all handled, Natalie. Don't worry about it. But I did worry. Because that's what happens when you grow up not quite trusted, not quite included. You learn to expect the worst. Abigail went through a messy divorce last year. Her husband left her for someone he met at work. It destroyed her. I flew home twice to help her pack, to sit with her while she cried, to remind her she'd survive this. She moved back in with Mom. And suddenly, every phone call from my mother was about how hard things were for Abigail, how much she was struggling, how she needed help. I sent money. I called my sister. I did what family does. But 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, I got an email that changed everything. It was from an insurance company. Subject line, claim review required, verification needed. I opened it sitting at my desk in Denver, coffee going cold in my hand. They were reviewing a claim filed under my father's supplemental life insurance policy. They needed to verify my signature on the beneficiary update forms. They had some questions about the filing. My signature. I read that email 4 times. Then I went digging through every document I had from Dad's estate. Nothing. No policy information. No beneficiary forms. Nothing with my signature from the past 2 years. That's when I remembered. I was 19. Kitchen table. Mom's voice too casual. Just routine paperwork. I called the insurance company the next morning. My hands shook while I dialed. The representative was professional, careful with her words. "Ma'am, we show a claim filed 6 weeks ago listing Abigail Lewis as sole beneficiary. The contact on file is Agnes Lewis, that would be your mother. But the signature we have for the original beneficiary designation is dated 10 years ago and matches your name." My hands went cold. "Who filed the recent claim?" I asked, even though I already knew. "Your mother. She indicated you were aware of the change and had agreed to it." I hadn't. I'd never even known the policy existed as anything more than paperwork I'd signed a decade ago. "What happens now?" I asked. "We're investigating potential irregularities. The beneficiary information submitted doesn't match our original records, and there are inconsistencies in the documentation. We'll be in contact." I hung up and sat in my apartment as the sun set outside my window, watching Denver light up below me, and I felt something shift inside my chest. Not anger exactly. Something colder, clearer. My mother had lied. She'd filed a claim, listed Abigail as the only beneficiary, forged my agreement, and planned to let it all go through without ever telling me. And she would have succeeded if the insurance company hadn't flagged it. I didn't call her. I didn't confront her. I saved every email, every document, every piece of evidence. And I waited. Because after 31 years of being managed, controlled, and sidelined, I wanted her to dig her own hole. I wanted to see exactly how far she'd go. 2 weeks later, Mom called about Thanksgiving. Her voice was too bright, almost manic. "The whole family's coming to Aunt Janet's house in Seattle. Everyone. I have some important news to share and I want everyone there." "What news?" I asked. "You'll see. It's good news. About Abigail. About helping her get back on her feet." My stomach dropped. She was going to announce it. She was going to make a public show of giving Abigail this money, framing herself as the generous mother helping her struggling daughter. And she expected me to sit there and smile. "I'll be there," I said. "Good. And Natalie? I hope you'll be supportive. Your sister really needs this." The manipulation was so smooth I almost missed it. Almost. The flight to Seattle felt long. I kept checking my phone, rereading the emails from the insurance company. Part of me wanted to call Mom, to handle it privately. But another part of me, the part that had been invisible for 31 years, wanted her to say it out loud in front of everyone. I wanted witnesses. Aunt Janet's house hasn't changed in 20 years. Big kitchen, long wooden table, warm lighting that makes everything feel safe. She hugged me at the door, held me at arm's length, and looked at me the way she always has, like she actually sees me. "You look good, Natalie. Strong. Thanks, Aunt Janet. Your mother's been acting strange all week. You know anything about that?" I smiled. "Not yet." The house filled up fast. Cousins, uncles, older relatives who show up for holidays and gossip. Uncle Doug was already 3 stories deep into some work drama. My cousin Rachel waved from the kitchen where she was helping with dishes. Then Mom arrived with Abigail. Mom's hands were shaking. I noticed it immediately, the way she kept smoothing her sweater, adjusting her necklace, trying to look confident and failing. Abigail looked tired. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She hugged me, and I hugged her back because despite everything, she's still my sister. "You okay?" I asked quietly. "I think so. Mom's been weird lately. Secretive. Yeah. She keeps saying she has a surprise. Something about helping me. But she won't tell me what." I nodded, filing that away. Abigail didn't know. Whatever Mom had planned, she hadn't even told Abigail. She was going to blindside both of us at dinner. We sat down for dinner. 20 people crammed around Aunt Janet's table, passing dishes, laughing, the usual chaos. I sat across from Mom, Abigail to her right, me to her left. That's when Mom started dropping hints. It's been such a hard year, she said to no one in particular. Especially for Abigail. The divorce, moving back home. It's been so difficult watching her struggle. Abigail looked uncomfortable. Mom, I'm okay. You deserve something good, Mom continued, ignoring her. Something to help you start fresh. Red flag number 1. 10 minutes later, my cousin leaned over. Your mom seems off tonight. Yeah, she does. Red flag number 2. Mom wasn't eating. She kept glancing at Abigail, then at me, then away. Every time someone mentioned money or paperwork or anything financial, her shoulders tensed. Under the table, I pulled out my phone. Opened the email from the insurance company. Read it again just to steady myself. Abigail whispered, Did Mom say anything to you about money? No. Why? She keeps mentioning insurance. I don't know what she's talking about. Red flag number 3. Then Mom stood up. Tapped her glass with a fork. The table went quiet. Before we get too deep into dinner, she said, voice shaking slightly, I wanted to make an announcement. Here we go. As you all know, Abigail's had an incredibly difficult year. The divorce, the financial strain, everything. She's been so strong, but she deserves help. She deserves something good. Abigail's face went pale. Mom, what are you doing? Mom ignored her, playing to the room like she was on stage. So when the opportunity came up, I did what any mother would do. I made sure she'd be taken care of. Silence. I've arranged for Abigail to receive the insurance payout from your father's policy. She needs it. She deserves it. And Natalie, she turned to me with this rehearsed sympathy that made my skin crawl. You understand, right? You have your job, your life in Denver. You're doing fine. Abigail needs this more. The room exploded. Not with sound, but with energy. Every person at that table leaned forward at once. My aunt's eyebrows shot up. Uncle Doug's mouth fell open. My cousins exchanged glances. Abigail stood up, her chair scraping loud against the floor. What payout? Mom, what are you talking about? It's complicated, honey. No. Abigail's voice cracked. What did you do? Mom's hands were shaking badly now. She looked at me, expecting me to back her up, to stay quiet like I always had. I stood up slowly. The entire table turned to look at me. Mom, I said, keeping my voice calm. Why don't you tell them who filed the claim? Every sound in that room vanished. Filed what claim? Abigail's voice was desperate now. Mom, what is she talking about? Natalie, stop being dramatic, Mom hissed. This doesn't concern you. It doesn't concern me? I felt something crack open inside my chest. Mom, it's literally about Dad's insurance policy. How does that not concern me? You know what I mean. No, I don't. Explain it to everyone. Explain how you filed a claim 6 weeks ago without telling either of us. Mom's face drained of color. Aunt Janet's voice cut through the tension. Agnes, what is Natalie talking about? It's nothing, Mom said quickly. Just a misunderstanding. Should I read the email? I pulled out my phone. Mom's eyes went wide. Natalie, please. Please what? Please stay quiet. Please let you lie to everyone here the way you've been lying to me and Abigail? I haven't lied to anyone. Then why did the insurance company contact me for verification? I unlocked my phone. Why are they investigating irregularities in the claim? The table erupted. Everyone talking at once. Abigail sank back into her chair, face white. I started reading. Subject, claim review required. The insurance payout for policyholder John Lewis is temporarily frozen pending investigation of irregularities. Specifically, questions regarding the signature on beneficiary designation forms and the recent claim filed listing Abigail Lewis as sole beneficiary. Abigail gasped. Sole beneficiary? Without consultation with the other named party, I continued reading, and inconsistencies in the supporting documentation. Chaos. Uncle Doug swore. My aunt stood up. The older relatives started talking over each other. You filed a claim? Abigail's voice broke completely. Without telling me? Without telling Natalie? You needed help. Mom's voice turned shrill, defensive. Natalie has a job. She has money. She's fine. You don't. I was trying to help you. By cutting me out. I kept my voice steady even though my hands were shaking. By forging documents? I didn't forge anything. Then explain why the insurance company is investigating. Explain why they contacted me to verify a signature I never gave. Explain why you filed this claim 6 weeks ago and plan to announce it tonight without ever telling either of us the truth. Mom stumbled over her words. I was going to tell you both, eventually. When? Abigail was crying now, mascara running down her face. After the money hit my account? After you made Natalie look like she didn't care about family? After you used Dad's death to play favorites one more time? That last sentence hung in the air. Mom flinched. That's not what this is. Yes, it is, I said quietly. It's exactly what this is. It's what it's always been. Everything I did was for you girls. No. I shook my head. Everything you did was to control us. Both of us. Abigail by making her dependent. Me by making me invisible. Just like when I was 19 and you had me sign those forms. Just like every decision you've made that put Abigail first and me nowhere. Aunt Janet's voice was ice. Agnes, did you forge Natalie's signature? I didn't forge, Mom's voice broke. It was complicated. The forms from 10 years ago were unclear. I just clarified things. I just made sure the money went where it needed to go. You mean where you wanted it to go, I said. Mom sank into her chair. You lied, I continued, and my voice was steady now, clear. To the insurance company. To Abigail. To me. To everyone here. You were going to let this entire family think I was selfish enough to take money from my struggling sister when the truth is I never knew any of this existed. I thought you'd understand, Mom whispered. You're so successful. You don't need it like she does. That's not your decision to make. The words came out louder than I intended. The whole room went still. Dad's policy, I said, quieter now. Dad's wishes. They matter. And you decided they didn't because you wanted to play hero for Abigail and keep me in my place. Mom looked up at me, and for the first time in my life, I saw her look small. Defeated. Abigail wiped her eyes, smearing makeup across her cheeks. I don't want money that came from lies. I don't want any of this. Honey, you need it. Stop telling me what I need. Abigail's voice cracked. You didn't even ask me. You used Dad's death, you used me, and you were going to destroy what's left of my relationship with my sister for money I didn't even know existed. The table sat in heavy silence. My aunt reached over and squeezed my hand under the table. You did the right thing, Natalie. I nodded, suddenly exhausted. I didn't want to do this tonight. But she gave me no choice. Mom looked up at me, and I saw something in her face I'd never seen before. Not anger. Not control. Just defeat. And maybe, buried deep, shame. I thought I was helping, she whispered. You were helping yourself, I said quietly. Making yourself look good. Making Abigail dependent. Keeping me in my place. That's what this was really about. She didn't argue. Couldn't argue. Because everyone at that table knew I was right. I looked around at my family, my real family, the ones watching with sympathy and understanding instead of judgment. The insurance company is handling it properly now, I said. Everything will be divided according to Dad's actual wishes. Equally, fairly, the way it should have been from the start. Abigail nodded, still crying. I sat back down, and dinner slowly resumed around us. Quieter. Different. But honest in a way it had never been before. Later that night, Aunt Janet pulled me aside in the kitchen. "How long have you known?" "3 weeks. And you waited?" I wanted her to say it herself. I wanted everyone to hear it. I'm tired of being the only one who sees what she does. Aunt Janet hugged me hard. "You're stronger than I gave you credit for." "I'm tired of being invisible," I said. "You're not invisible, Natalie. Not anymore." I flew back to Denver the next day. Mom didn't say goodbye. Didn't even come out of her room. Abigail did, though. She hugged me at the airport and whispered, "Thank you." For what? For stopping it before I became part of the lie. A week later, the insurance company called. The investigation was complete. The payout would be divided equally between Abigail and me, just like Dad's original policy stated. Just like he wanted. Abigail called me that night. "I got the letter," she said. "Yeah. Me too. Natalie, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what Mom was doing. I swear I didn't know." "I know you didn't. Are we okay? Can we be okay?" I thought about that. About years of being second place. About watching my mother choose her over and over. About the hurt that had hardened into something I carried everywhere. "We will be," I said. "But it's going to take time." "I understand. I'll wait." We talked for an hour that night. Really talked. Maybe for the first time since we were kids. She told me about the divorce, about how lost she'd felt moving back home, about how Mom's constant hovering made everything worse instead of better. "She wants me to need her," Abigail said. "And I hate it." "I know. I don't want to be the golden child anymore, Natalie. I just want to be your sister." That broke something open in me. Something I'd been holding on to for too long. As for Mom, the family's been distant. Not cruel, just careful. My cousins text me now instead of her. Aunt Janet calls me for updates. Uncle Doug sent me a message saying he was proud of me for speaking up. Mom sent me a text a few days after Thanksgiving. Not an apology exactly. More like an acknowledgement that she'd messed up. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought I was doing the right thing." I didn't respond right away. Some things need time to settle. But here's what I learned from all of this. Truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be spoken. And sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one who's been paying attention the whole time. My mother controlled our family for decades through manipulation, favoritism, and secrets. And it worked because nobody challenged her. Until someone finally did. I'm not saying I handled everything perfectly. Maybe I should have confronted her privately. Maybe I should have told Abigail sooner. But after 31 years of being invisible, of signing papers I didn't understand, of watching my sister get everything while I got responsibility, I needed that moment. I needed everyone to see what I'd been seeing my whole life. And now they do. The insurance payout? It's sitting in my account. I haven't touched it yet. Abigail says the same. Neither of us wants to make a decision about Dad's money until we've processed everything else. But we're talking. Really talking. Building something that isn't shaped by Mom's manipulation. Building something real. And that's worth more than any insurance payout could ever be. Thanks for listening, and if you liked this story, share it with others, and don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about family secrets, finding your voice, and the moment everything changes. Sometimes the truth you've been hiding becomes the freedom you've been searching for.